One time I was reading some comments online and someone was saying about how he really liked the band Rush in the 70s. So he got a t-shirt with the album cover on it. It was the Hemispheres album cover. He went about his day and people started asking him why there was a naked man on his shirt. He said it's just an album cover and a great band. So I thought that was a funny story. So I will be talking about Hemispheres, which was released on October 24th, 1978. It is celebrating its 45th anniversary.
There's only one band on the planet that matters. Rush.
Here we go.
Again.
Rush, the Canadian rock band that dropped their sixth studio album, Hemispheres, in October 1978 under Anthem Records. After gaining fame in the UK from their previous album, A Farewell to Kings, the group got down to business with a new project. Just like the last one, Hemispheres was recorded at Rockfield Studios in Monmouthshire and Trident Studios in London with a longtime engineer and arranger Terry Brown. The album stayed true to Rush's progressive rock style, featuring the lengthy track Cygnus X-1 Book II, Hemispheres, which is a continuation from the last album, and the 9-minute instrumental Villa Strangiato, marking the band's first instrumental piece. Hemispheres was met with heaps of praise from music critics and managed to hit number 14 in both Canada and the UK, with a respectable number 41 spot in the United States. They even released two shorter tracks, Circumstances and The Trees. Those were singles in early 1979. In 1993, the Recording Industry Association of America certified the album as platinum for selling a whopping 1 million copies. Rush took Hemispheres on the road from October 1978 to June 1979 for a rocking concert tour. For the band's 40th anniversary, they re-released the album on November 16th, 2018, with a bunch of expanded formats. One of the highlights was the previously unreleased live set from the band's performance at the Pink Pop Festival in June of 1979. Back in 1978, the band Rush wrapped up their 9-month tour across the United States, Canada, and the UK. They were backing their fifth album, A Farewell to Kings, that was released in 1977. The tour did wonders for them in the UK, especially after their song Closer to the Heart hit number 36 on the UK singles chart. After a little breather, the band got together to start work on their next album. This time, they decided to dive into the songwriting process with no clear plan in mind. This turned out to be tough. As the guitarist Alex Lifeson put it, the trouble started from basics. They chose to record at the Rockfield Studios in Wales for the new album Hemispheres, sticking to the spot where they had recorded their previous album. They were tired of Toronto and they found the UK appealing, inspired by English bands that they admired. Before hitting the studio, they practiced hard for 2 weeks, but it made them worry about where the music was heading. The studio itself wasn't the fanciest, lacking even a comfy sofa. As Geddy Lee joked, it was really funky. There were some hiccups too, like a door latch that drove Lifeson crazy. He ended up taking it off and fixing it with a hydraulic door opener. They spent the summer of 1978 at Rockfield Studios recording Hemispheres with their trusted producer Terry Brown and engineer Pat Moran. This time, they spent more time in the studio compared to their earlier albums. Once the music was down, they moved to Advision Studios in London for the vocals, and later to Trident Studios for the final mixing. During these 3 intense months, Rush barely took a day off, pouring all their energy into making the album. Cost them about $100,000, making it their most expensive album yet. By the time they finished, they were completely worn out, and they took a well-deserved 6-week break to recover. Looking back, they realized they might have aimed a little bit too high, but despite the challenges, Hemispheres stood as a testament to their hard work and dedication, ready to captivate fans everywhere. The cover of Hemispheres was created by graphic artist Hugh Syme, who has worked with Rush for a long time. On the front, there's a picture that looks like the one in the painting called The Son of Man by a surreal artist named René Magritte. In this picture, there's a guy standing on the left side of a human brain. He's looking towards the guy who's standing on the right side in a ballet pose. And he's naked. So you're probably wondering, why is there a naked man in the picture? The guy in the ballet pose is actually a dancer from the Toronto Ballet School. Hugh Syme wanted to show different things about the brain, like the left and right sides, and the ideas of order and chaos. He used the image of the naked man to represent something more free and unbounded, like the Dionysian part of the brain. The whole picture came together from ideas Hugh Syme got from talking to Neil Peart, who we all know is the drummer of Rush. May he rest in peace. The figure that resembles the one in the painting is actually Hugh Syme's friend, Bobby King. He's the same guy who posed naked for Rush's Starman logo on their 2112 album cover, which is also designed by Hugh Syme. To create the whole picture, Syme borrowed a brain from the Department of Anatomy at the University of Toronto Facility of Medicine, and he took pictures of it. He then put all the different parts together to make the final design using a mix of airbrush and paint for the background. Interestingly, Hugh Syme started working on the design even before he had listened to any of the songs on the album. So basically, the moral of the story is that Rush likes putting naked men on their album covers. So let's go track by track. Cygnus X-1 Book II, Hemispheres. This covers the entire first side. So the opening track of the album, it's a whopping 18 minutes long, a sequel to a track from their previous album, and divided into 6 distinct parts. Neil Peart, the band's drummer, he had a tough time writing this one, taking hours and causing him lots of stress. The song uses a lot of mythology and symbolism to tell a story about a conflict between the gods Apollo and Dionysus, with a resolution brought by Cygnus. This was the first time Peart introduced the gong and timpani into his percussion set, giving the song a unique sound. Personally, I think it's a really good song. I probably would say that the long song from 2112 would be a better one, but I think it's still very good. So let's continue on to side 2. This one has the 2 shorter songs. So this one has Circumstances. This is the first of the 2 shorter tracks. The band saw this as an experiment, trying to break away from their usual long and elaborate format. It signaled a new direction for the band they would explore more in their later albums. Next is one of my favorites, The Trees. This is a story. It's about a forest where the oak and maple trees get into a little quarrel because oaks grow too big and block the sunlight. The maples team up and try to get the oaks to cut down into a smaller size. Geddy Lee, the band's bassist and vocalist, said that the Welsh countryside where they were recording influenced the song's vibe, with sheep even disturbing their sleep in the mornings. The last song is Villa Strangiato. Final track, it's a 9-minute instrumental divided into 12 sections, labeled An Exercise in Self-Indulgence, inspired by the nightmares of Alex Lifeson, the guitarist, and he used to have these during tours. Rush faced some challenges recording this one, as they wanted to be a single live performance rather than an edited piece. They ended up spending a lot of time perfecting it, even more time than they spent recording the entire Fly By Night album. The segments Monsters and Monsters Reprise were adapted from a 1937 jazz instrumental called Powerhouse by Raymond Scott. So my final thoughts. Rush's album Hemispheres, it's a powerful example of the musical growth and creativity. They worked hard to make the album, facing challenges along the way. The really cool album cover by Hugh Syme has lots of interesting things to look at, and it connects with the songwriting and the album's ideas. This album shows how Rush keeps trying new things and making music that people love. It's a great example of their place in the history of rock music, showing that they've made a big impact on the world of music. Well, check out this video right here for A Farewell to Kings. I did that one last year as part of my anniversary reviews or a classic album series. Please like this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you have not already. I do mostly metal content, but I'm also a fan of classic rock. So there will be, and there is on my channel, lots of classic rock. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.